heart of teaching is only the heart of awakening the natural curiosity of young mind for the purpose of satisfying it afterwards. With this goal, I would like to greet all the professors present today. Happy Teachers' Day to all. A very good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all for the 16th of AICT sponsored short-term training program on Tableau data visualization tool for researchers. Today, our first session will be on advanced chart in Tableau. It will be handled by Dr. Samir Rohadia. Now, I request our resource person, Dr. Samir Rohadia, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. And as I just now wrote on in the chat that I wish all of you a very happy Teachers' Day. This is a very, very important day for all of us. And yeah, let us continue our journey of gaining knowledge and then accordingly transferring that knowledge to our students. Yeah. Okay, so let me start. And today, as you are seeing the schedule, that we are having two sessions. So first one, I'll be starting with the advanced charts in Tableau, and then I'll be going for the dashboards and stories. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Yeah, so I hope that everybody is able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, what I'll be doing is that I'll be sharing the data set. Yeah. So, and plus I request coordinator to please share the data set into the WhatsApp group so that everybody has the data set. So this is a very famous data set that is known as Global Superstore. So just give me a 10 seconds and it will be uploaded. Yeah, so now I uploaded the data set. So coordinated madam, please share this thing in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, so that
Yes, sir.
yeah, I do not have to share it many times. Yeah, okay. Good. So we are already 51 participants, and then let us start, and maybe some other people will join later on. Yeah, so welcome to this first session, which is on advanced charts in Tableau. And I have prepared, say as we have done yesterday also, that I have prepared a presentation. So we'll be shuffling between the presentation and the Tableau tool. Yeah. So advanced charts in Tableau. And now here I'll be taking approximately, yeah, depending upon the time, but around 4 to 5 different charts that so we'll be going through. So the first chart that we'll be taking today is Gantt chart. Yeah, so definitely you must have heard this Gantt chart. It is very popular in the project management. So Gantt chart, it is named after its inventor, Henry Gantt. And on the right hand side, you can see this Gantt chart very well. It is a useful graphical tool which shows activities or tasks performed against time. Yeah, so here normally on the left hand side, we'll be putting all those activities that will be carry forward or so that will be carrying to complete the project. And here we are having the time. Yeah, so you can say on x-axis we are having the time, on y-axis we are having the activities, and either we can show it in the form of week, or if the task is very small, so we can show it in the form of days also, or if the task is bigger, then months and year also. it is a visual representation of a project where the activities are broken down and displayed on a chart, which makes it easy to understand and interpret. So rather than writing everything about the different activities and when it is going to start, when it is going to end, whenever we write in paragraphs, we are not able to, I would say that, remember those things. Yeah. But here, whenever we are showing it in the form of a chart, and then when we see this chart, then it is very easy to understand. Yeah? There is a very famous Chinese proverb that a picture is equal to 1,000 words. Yeah. So when we see a picture, we are able to remember it better. So this is all about Gantt chart. Now let us go to the Tableau. Yeah. So I hope that you are ready with Tableau. Yeah. Okay, so I've already shared the data set that is known as Global Superstore in the chat. And definitely now you must be having on the WhatsApp also, WhatsApp group. So it is a Excel file. So definitely we'll be clicking over here at Microsoft Excel. And then I'm selecting this Superstore data set. Yeah, you also do with me, please. So here in our data set, we are having three tables. That is, first one is order, second one is people, and third one is returns. Yeah. Now here, throughout these two sessions, we'll be only focusing on this orders table only. Yeah. These two tables will not be using it. So what we'll be doing now, that we drag these orders and we bring it over here in the center. Yeah. So this is our data set. We are having row ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID, customer name, segment. Yeah. Then we are having the postal code, yeah, segment, postal code, city, state, country, region. And then we are having market, product ID, category, subcategory, product name. And then we are having the sales, quantity, discount, profit, shipping cost, and order priority. So it's having a lot of columns. So let us start with the first chart, that is known as Gantt chart. Yeah. So we go to the sheet. Now here, to create a Gantt chart, first of all, what we'll be taking, that will be taking this category field. Yeah, the first field in the dimension area. So we'll be carry forward this category to the rows. Yeah, so please drag this category field, the first one, over here in the rows. Yeah. Then we also have the subcategory. Yeah. So you drag this subcategory and put it in the rows. Yeah. So we have put the category and subcategory over here in the rows. Then we also put this category into color. Yeah. What I've done, that I'm putting the category and putting it in the color. Yeah. So here we are having some colors. Yeah. So category, subcategory, and some colors. Now in Gantt chart, as we have seen over here, that here mostly we are playing with the dates. Yeah. So here also in our data set, we are having two dates. First one is known as order date. Yeah. So this is our order date, and then we are having the ship date. Yeah. So order date, as you can understand, that the day on which the order was it was created or it was given by the customer, and the ship date is the date when it was sent to the customer. Yeah. So we'll be using these two dates. Yeah. And then we'll be creating this kind of Gantt chart. Yeah, this kind of bars that we have to create in our Tableau. So in rows we have put this category, subcategory. Now what we'll be doing, we'll be using this order date. Yeah, so we'll be dragging this order date and we'll be putting in the column. Okay, we'll be dragging this order date and putting it in the column. Now here in this order date, yeah, very, very important, in this order date, it is currently here, it is showing us year. Yeah, so we click this drop down arrow and then we go below and then we select this day. Yeah, you can see my pointer, it is showing us day and it is giving some example, May 8, 2015. Yeah, this particular day. So it is known as a continuous day. So we select this day. Yeah. So we are getting something over here, some chart over here. Yeah. So now in the column, we have taken the order date, but it is showing the day of the order date. Yeah. Rows, we are having category and subcategory. Now, next thing is that we'll be creating a filter over here for the order date. Yeah, for the order date. So what I do, I drag this order date and put it over here in the filters area. Yeah, I'm dragging the order date and putting it over in the filters. Then immediately we get this dialog box. And here, by default, it is showing us range of dates, which is highlighted here. If we want other things, we can go for it. But here we'll be going for the range of dates. Yeah, so by default it is selected. It is yeah, dark in color. I say next. Yeah. Now here we are having these different things: relative dates, range of dates, starting date, ending date, and special. Now for creating this Gantt chart, because see, you can see over here that we are having a very large data set and the year is starting from 1st of January 2012 till it is 31st of December 2015. So 12, 13, 14, 15. So 4 years are there in this data set. But we'll not be looking for this much broad data set. What I want to see is that I want to take the range from 1st of January 2012 till 31st of March 2012. So I want to go for only 1 quarter only. Yeah, because if we go for that 1 quarter, then the Gantt chart looks better. Yeah, even for this 2015 also we can create this Gantt chart, but for simplicity purpose, let us go for just 3 months. Yeah, so here in the starting date, it is already mentioned 1st of January 2012. Now here we have to take instead of 31st of December 2015, let me change directly over here. So instead of 12, I'll write 3, because here it is the first figure is the month, yeah, then the date, and then the year. So here I've changed 3, 31st, and then 2012. Yeah. So our date of range is from 1st of January 2012 till 31st of March 2012. Yeah, so directly you can change it over here. First of all, we write 3, 31, and then 2012. Yeah, so I hope that that is clear. So we have taken just 3 months for our date range. Yeah, then we click apply and OK. Yeah. So now you can see some bars over here. Yeah, some bars over here. So this bar, it is showing the order date. Now in our diagram, you can see that if we take our example, then if we want to create a Gantt chart, then if we want to create this kind of bar, then the starting point over here, as you can see, in our case, it is order date. And the ending point will be the ship date. Yeah, so this is the order date starting point, and the ending point will be the ship date. So once we have these 2 points, then we can easily create these bars. Yeah, so likewise for every bar we should have the order date and the ship date. So let us go back to Tableau. So now in the columns, we have seen that we have taken the order date. Now we have to create a calculated field where we'll be defining the length of the bar. Yeah, we'll be defining the length of the bar. So the length of the bar will be equal to the difference between the order date and the ship date. Yeah. So to do that thing, we'll be as you know that for creating the calculated field, we have to click this drop down arrow, and then we select the first option, that is create calculated field. Yeah. Now I'll be giving that title for this field, that is known as duration. Yeah, because that is the difference between the order date and the ship date. So I'll give this title duration. Now duration, here we'll be using a function known as date diff, yeah, or date difference. So because we want to take the difference, yeah, between the two dates, that is start date and the end date. Yeah, so we'll be using this function. I've already taken that function. It is known as date diff. Yeah. Now in this date diff, there are 3 parts over here. Yeah, or sometimes it is also here shown 4 parts. So the first part is that which date part we have to take. Yeah, which date part. Now here in our order date and ship date, what we are having, we are having 3 portions or 3 items. We are having the date, then month, and the year. Yeah. So in our case, we will be taking the date or day, we can say. Yeah. So that we have to mention over here in the date diff in the bracket. So I write comma, like inverted comma. Yeah. Then I write down day. Again in inverted comma, I write down day like this. Yeah. Let me see if I can, no. Okay. So day, then comma, normal comma. Yeah. So this is the date part. Yeah. Which date part we have to take? We have to take the day of the date part. Then the start date. Which is the start date? That is our order date. So we write order, and then we select the first one, that is order date. Yeah. Comma. Yeah. So this is order date is our start date, and what is the end date? End date is our ship date. So I write just ship, and I select the first option, that is ship date. Yeah. So these are the 3 parts, and the last part it shows is start of week. Yeah. So sometimes if I do not want to start from the first date or first week, I want to start from, say for example, 4th week, then I can write them over here. But in our case, we don't have to write anything over here. So date diff. Yeah. Let me also open that Word file so that you can also see that. Yeah, so I hope that you must have written this definition. Yeah, so this is our formula, date diff. Then we have put it in inverted comma, day. Then we have to mention the start date, that is the order date. And then we have to mention the ship date. Yeah, that is the end date. Yeah, so this is our formula. So now, once this formula is written here, it is showing calculation is valid. We say apply and OK. Yeah. So now in this measures area, we are having the duration. Yeah, duration measure. So now what we'll be doing, we want to create this bar. Yeah. So already our order date is mentioned everywhere. Yeah. In the form of a line. Now we have to create this bar. So we go back, and then here in the what we'll be doing, we'll be putting this duration. Yeah, we have already created this measure. So we will be putting this duration and dragging it onto the size. Yeah, what I've done, I have selected the duration and drag it to the size over here. Yeah. So this is how we can see that this is our Gantt chart. Yeah. So duration, whatever we have created, that creates this bar. Okay. So we are already having this, say for example, here it is showing us duration is 4. Yeah. So, and day of order date was January 3rd. So from January 3rd till January 7th. Yeah. On January 7th, this order was delivered. Yeah. Or it was, sorry, it was shipped to the customer. Yeah. And it is showing us category and subcategory. So there are there are overlapping those bars which are there. Yeah, you can see if you put your pointer, if you are moving your pointer over here, you are able to see that there are many overlapping bars. Yeah, because say for example, if this bookcase has been ordered on January 3rd, then another bookcase has been ordered on January 4th. Yeah, likewise. So you'll be every day or every second day you'll be getting some kind of orders, and then every third day or fourth day you are trying to ship those products. Yeah. So definitely these Gantt charts, it will be having a lot of overlapping over here. Yeah. And also here we have taken the category in the color, so it is showing us these 3 categories. So we are having furniture, office supplies, and technology. And within those each category we are having the subcategories. Yeah. So here this is our yeah, the legend. We can also put it over here if you want to have this bigger space. So I hope that you are clear with this Gantt chart. Yeah. Now here, yeah, one more thing. In order, we have taken this order date in the filters area. Yeah, you can see that we have taken this order date in filters area. Now here it is not showing me that filter. So as you know very well that if you want to have this filter, we have to right click, we have to click on this drop down arrow, and then we say show filter. Yeah. So on the right hand side, we are having that filter. Yeah. Now here I can, currently we have taken the date range from 1st of January 2012 till 31st of March 2012. Yeah, that we have just taken the 3 months. Now here also we can increase that date range. Yeah. So I can take till say for example 2000, yeah, 2013, yeah, 31st of December, say for example. So this is a very big range. Yeah, for 2 years it is there. So then accordingly the Gantt chart will be like this. Yeah, so we can play with this date range. Yeah, we can minimize it, we can decrease it, so we can increase also. Yeah, great. So I hope that this is clear. Yeah, this is our Gantt chart. Yeah. Now let us go to the next one, that is known as packed bubble chart. Okay, here in the diagram you can see this packed bubble chart. Now here what it says that the size and optionally the color of the bubbles are used to visualize the data. Yeah, so first of all the major thing is the size. Yeah, so the bigger the size, then the more it is having that particular value. So sometimes if we are showing the profit, then the bubble which is having the highest profit, it will be the bigger bubble, and then accordingly the smaller bubbles will have either the lower profit or loss also sometimes. Yeah, and then we can also give the colors. Yeah, so in our own bubble chart, we'll be using a lot of those things. Different bubble sizes are useful to visually emphasize specific values. Yeah. So with the help of this bubble chart, we are able to get very quick knowledge about uh, the size of that, or say for example, if you want to show the profit for different products, then with the help of this pack bubble chart, we are able to get that information very quickly. Yeah, rather than writing those things in paragraphs. So this is a very useful chart. And here it says lastly that it is often used to present the financial data. Yeah, so mostly it is used in the financial data. So let us go with this chart, packed bubble chart. So I go back to this Tableau, and then here sheet 1, let us try to name the sheet 1. So sheet 1, this is our Gantt chart. Yeah, so later on when you want to use it, you can use it, and please save this file also. Yeah, if you are using this desktop thing, you can save it, and if you're not using desktop and if you're using public, then it will be shared on the it will be put it in the cloud. So currently I'm using the trial version of this desktop professional. So save as. Here I'm giving the title advanced charts. Save. Okay, so our first chart is Gantt chart. Now we go to the next sheet. Yeah, and in the sheet 2 only, we immediately we give the name. So this our second chart is known as packed bubble chart. Packed bubble chart. Yeah. Now how to create this packed bubble chart over here in our case. So first of all, what we do, we drag this category and then we put it in the columns. Yeah, first of all, we drag this category, the first field, and we put it in the columns. Then in the rows, in these rows, we'll be dragging the sales. Yeah, we drag the sales measure and we put it in the rows. Okay, so in columns, I have used category, and in the rows, I have taken the sales. Sales is in the measures area. Okay, so here we are getting this bar chart, but we do not want to have the bar chart. We want to have the packed bubble chart. So to get the packed bubble chart, here on the right hand top corner, we are having the show me, where if we click on it, then we are getting some of the normal, I would say popular charts. Now here, the last one, yeah, especially in my this Tableau, it is showing me the last chart where it is having some circles. So this is our packed bubble chart. Yeah, so please select that packed bubble chart. Yeah, from the show me. Yeah, now once it is done, we can just reduce that show me. So here we are having these three things. Yeah, we have already taken the category, and in the category we are having this furniture, office supplies, and technology. And in the tooltip, you are able to see the sales of each of the three categories. Yeah, so this is done, but this is not the final one. So we have started creating the packed bubble chart. This is the initial packed bubble chart. Now what we'll be doing, we'll be adding more and more things over here so that we get more and more packed bubble charts, and it will be more detailed one. So now what we'll be doing, we'll be selecting in the dimension, we are having this market. So we drag this market. Yeah, we drag this market and we put it in the detail. Yeah, drag the market and put it in the detail area. Okay, I've dragged the market and put it in the detail area. So now here we are getting a lot of bubbles. Okay, now what is this? What we have put? The market. Now there are different markets which are available. Yeah, so let us do one thing. Let us create one filter of market only. So we drag this market and we put it in the filters area. Yeah, drag the market and put it in the filters area. Then we get this dialog box. It says that, okay, we want all the market. Here we are having 5 markets: Africa, Asia Pacific, Europe, Latin America, and US, Canada. Yeah, so we want all is selected. We say apply and OK. Yeah, then we want to see this filter over here. So we can also click on this drop down arrow in the filters area in the market, and we say show filter. Okay. So now initially, as you have seen, that we were having 3 bubbles, and then out of the 3 bubbles, now we are having total how many areas we are having. So we are having 5 markets. So 5 3 is 15. Yeah. So 3 categories and 5 markets. Yeah. So total 15 bubbles are over here. So in technology, you can see that these are the 5 bubbles of technology, then office supplies, and the furniture. So this is about this is giving us more detail. And if we put our pointer over here on any of the bubble, then it is showing us category. Here in my case, it is showing me category technology. Then market is Asia Pacific, and sales is some figures are given. Okay. Now currently here in every bubble, I'm able to see just the category name, but I'm not able to see the market. Okay. I'm only able to see the market when I put the pointer, and then in the tooltip, I'm able to see the market. But if I want to see the market specifically on each and every bubble without this tooltip, then we know very well that what we have to do, we have to drag this market and put it in the label. Yeah, drag the market and put it in the label. So now we are able to see the market also. Yeah, the category and the market. Yeah, this is technology, US, Canada. This is technology, Asia Pacific. Likewise, office supplies, Asia Pacific. Yeah. The smaller bubbles, for the smaller bubbles, it is very difficult to write down those things. So here in the smaller bubbles, we don't have those title, yeah, or the label, we can say. So this is about we have created a bubble chart for the category, market, and it is also showing us the sales. Yeah. Now here we can also play with the profit. Okay, so we are already having the profit. So if you want to see that which category and the market it is having very good profit or low profit, then what we can do, we can drag this profit and put it in the colors area. Yeah, what we are doing, we are selecting the profit capsule and putting it in the colors. Yeah, so now you can see that it is showing us this different shades of blue color. Yeah, so currently in technology the profit is very good, yeah, because the sales is also very good. Then in Europe technology also the profit and the sales are good, and then the circles which are having the light color, yeah, there the profits are minimum. Yeah, and then if you are not happy with this kind of color shade, yeah, that is shades of blue, then definitely on the right hand side you can see that we are having this sum of profit. So you click on this drop down arrow, and then you get the first option, that is edit colors. Yeah, you click on it, and then here the first thing it says is palette. So you click this drop down arrow. Now here initially you can use, if you are happy with just one color, you can use this thing. Yeah, then we are having combination of 2 colors. Then some diverging effect is also there, and sometimes we also have some 3 colors below also somewhere. Yeah. So let us go for the say for example red blue diverging. Yeah, I want to have a combination of that red blue diverging. So I select this thing, and yes, that's all. Yeah, I click apply and OK. So now here I'm getting a combination of red and blue. Yeah, so definitely the blue bubbles are having a very good profit. Yeah, and here those which are having the very dark red color, there the profits are minimum. Yeah, so you can do like this also. Now here I would like to create a calculated field, and I would like to use the profit margin. I want to calculate the profit margin, and then I want to use it in the SPAC bubble chart. Okay. So profit margin, what it is equal to profit divided by sales. Okay. So let us create one calculated field. Yeah. So we go to this drop down arrow, click on create calculated field. I give the name profit margin. Yeah. Then I write down the formula. So profit margin is equal to, first of all, profit. So I just selected profit slash or divide. Yeah, we use it. We use that slash for divide. So profit divided by sales. Yeah. So I select the sales. Okay. So this is our simple formula. Profit margin is equal to, normally here we don't like write equal to, so it is profit slash sales. Calculation is valid. We click apply. Okay. Yeah. So now after here we are able to see the profit margin. Yeah, that is the field. Now what we can do, we can also take this profit margin and drag it on the color. Yeah, we are taking the profit margin and putting it in the color. Okay. So earlier we had dragged the profit into the color, but now we are putting the profit margin into the color. Yeah. And normally here you can see that it will only take one value. Yeah, for the colors. Earlier it was profit, now it is profit margin. Yeah. So now you can see that there is some difference. Yeah. Here we are having, this is our technology and Asia Pacific. This is the very big circle, and this size of the circle is based on the sales. Yeah, if you remember that we had put the sales over here. Yeah, in the rows, and then we had this size. Okay, but if you see that in this technology and Asia Pacific, the profit margin is negative. Yeah, the sales is very good, but then overall the profit margin is negative. Yeah, while if you consider this furniture in Asia Pacific, the profit margin is less, but it is still positive, 52. Yeah, here technology Europe, you can see that the profit margin is comparatively very good compared to the technology Asia Pacific. So here we are having the profit margin of 209. Yeah, here this bubble is small, office supplies Europe, but you can see the profit margin, it is very good. Yeah, so suddenly when we use another field, then the things change. Yeah, initially we were happy that okay, this technology Asia Pacific is very big bubble and this is very good, but when we calculated the profit margin, then things have changed. Yeah, so this is what we mean by the packed bubble chart, and then you can play with this packed bubble chart. You can give some more, you can add some more things over here in the details area. Yeah, and then you can play with it. So I hope that this is clear. Yeah, everybody is with me. Yeah, now we are having 87 participants. Good. Okay, so we have created this Gantt chart, and then now we are having this packed bubble chart. Yeah. Great. So now let us go to the third one. Yeah, this is also one of the very important chart. So this is known as Pareto chart. Yeah, and on the right hand side you can see that the normal Pareto chart which is created. Now here it contains both bars and a line graph. Yeah, so here we are having the bar chart as well as the line chart also, where individual values are represented in descending order by bars. Yeah, so you can see that it is starting with the highest bar and going towards the lowest bar, and the cumulative total is represented by the line. Yeah, so here the total is visualized by this line. The length of the bars represent frequency or cost, that is time or money, and are arranged with longest bars on the left and the shortest to the right. Yeah, so this is what we have seen. And the third point is very, very important, because this is why we are saying this chart as a Pareto chart. It visually depicts which situations are most significant. So I'm very sure that you must have heard this Pareto principle, 80-20 principle. Yeah. So whenever we are trying to, say for example, we are trying to organize our work, then it says that 80% of your time goes in completing the 20% of your work. Yeah. And sometimes those the work which is very, very important, yeah, it takes just 20% of your time. Yeah, so focus should be more on those work where we are able to complete in a very short period. Yeah, so and in here in our case we will be seeing that which products are very good, where if we focus on it, then we get at least 80% of our profit. Yeah, so this is what we mean by this 80-20 Pareto principle. So let us create this Pareto chart. Yeah, we come back to the Tableau. Now we click on the new sheet. Yeah, and we give the name to this new sheet, Pareto chart. Yeah, so we give the title Pareto chart. Now to create the Pareto chart, there are some steps. Yeah, it is not so easy. So let us start with the first one. Let us first of all put some values over here. So what we do, we drag first of all the subcategory and put it in the columns. Yeah, what we have done, we have dragged the subcategory and we have dragged it to the columns. Okay. Then the second one, in the rows, we'll be taking the sales. Yeah, so we drag the sales and we put it in the rows. Okay. So in columns, we are having subcategory. In rows, we are having the sales. Okay. So here you can see that on the x-axis, we are having this subcategory, and here it is showing us in the form in the alphabetical order of the subcategory. So starting it is with accessories and appliances, art, binders, bookcase, and the last one is tables. Yeah. So it is showing us in the ascending order. But now in Pareto chart, as you have seen over here, that what it says that the the longest bar has to be on the left. Yeah, the longest bar has to be on the left, and then we have to go towards the shortest bar. Yeah, I hope that there is no clear. Okay, problem. Okay, so we have to have the longest bar on the left hand side, and then we have to move towards the shortest bar. Okay, but currently you can see that these bars are not arranged in that order. Yeah, so to have these bars from descending in a descending order, then here just below this window button, yeah, here we are having this thing that is known as sorted descending. Yeah, this is sorted ascending, this is sorted descending. So we click this button, sort descending. Yeah, just click this button, sort descending. Okay, so now this is done. The longest bar is on the left hand side, and then the shortest bar is on the right hand side. Yeah, so we have created, at least we can say that, one portion of Pareto chart. Yeah. Now what we have to do, we have to create this line chart. Yeah, we have already created the bar chart. Now we have to create the line chart. So here, to create the line chart, we are having two methods, yeah, especially what I know, but let us use one of the technique over here that is known as dual axis technique. Yeah, I do not know that whether in these earlier sessions whether we have used that technique or not, dual axis. So let us use that thing. So what we do that now if we want to have two charts, yeah, see here you are able to see that if I make it a little bit bigger, then in one area only we are having two charts, yeah, bar chart as well as line chart. Now for the bar chart, the y-axis is over here, yeah, this is the y-axis for bar chart, and then this is the y-axis for the line chart. Okay, so we are having two axes over here, two y-axis, you can see x-axis is same, but we are having two y-axis. So to create this kind of effect on our this particular bar chart, yeah, so what we'll be doing that here in the rows, yeah, we are having sum of sales, yeah, this is our y-axis, sum of sales, yeah. So now we want to have two axes, two y-axis, one over here on the left hand side and another over here on the right hand side. Okay, so to create these two y-axis, what we'll be doing, yesterday also we used this technique. So we press the control button, yeah, please press the control button, keep it pressed, and then we drag this sum of sales and we create the duplicate of it. Yeah, just drag the sum of sales and we create and we put it over here, and now we release the button, the control button. Okay, so what we do, we press the control button, keep it pressed, and then we drag this sum of sales and we created these two sum of sales now, and then we release the button. So now these are our two charts, yeah, but currently both are identical, yeah. Now what we want that the first one above, it should be our normal bar chart that we already created, and below we would like to create the line chart. Okay, now let us focus over here in this marks area, yeah. Now for the first chart, yeah, first chart, here it is showing us automatic, yeah, above this color it is showing us automatic. So by default Power BI Tableau has created this bar chart, but it is showing automatic. So let us by default select bar, yeah, let us be very specific. So if we select bar over here, so it doesn't make any sense, but yes, now we can say that okay, it is bar chart. Now below over here, sum of sales we are able to see two times because here we are having two fields. Now we select the second sum of sales, yeah, click this second sum of sales, and here also it is showing us bar, but for the second chart we want to have the line chart. So we click on this drop down arrow and then we select line chart, yeah, line chart over here for the second one. Okay, so this is the one small thing that we have changed. So now this is our bar chart, the second chart is the line chart. Okay, now here we would like to create these kind of effect, yeah, these kind of line chart. So there is a concept known as running total, yeah. So we'll be using that concept of running total because currently you can see that the line chart is showing like this, yeah, but we want to have a kind of a curve over here, yeah. So to do that thing, what we do that here in the second sum of sales, yeah, the second capsule of sum of sales, we click on this drop down arrow and then we go below, yeah, we go below, and then here we come to this point that is quick table calculation, yeah, quick table calculation, and then we click on running total, yeah, we select the first option in the quick table calculation, running total. So click on it and now you are able to see this chart, Yeah, this line chart, which is similar to this particular one. Yeah, but still we have to do something more. Yeah. Now again, in this sum of sales, the second sum of sales capsule, we click again on the drop down arrow. Yeah. And then here we click on this edit table calculation. Yeah, click on the edit table calculation. Okay. Now here in the table calculation, it is showing us running total sum. Yeah. Now below in this dialog box, we are having one option that is known as add secondary calculation also. Yeah. So it is not tick marked. So you tick mark that box. Yeah. Please tick mark this box, add secondary table, add secondary calculation. Yeah. Over here. So now this is our primary table calculation. This is our secondary calculation type. Now in the secondary calculation type, here, first of all, it is showing us difference. Yeah, difference from. So we click on it, difference from, and then here we select percent of total. Yeah, in this secondary table calculation type, we select the percent of total. Yeah, so just click it, percent of total. Okay, so in the primary it is running total, and then in the secondary it is percent of total. Yeah, so that is done. Okay, so now our this line chart and the bar chart, they are ready. But what we want to have a combined effect. Yeah, in the same area we want to have both the charts. Okay, so let us combine these now two charts. Okay, let us combine these two charts. Now here we'll be using the concept of dual axis. Yeah, so in the second capsule, yeah, in the second capsule of sum of sales, we click on this drop down arrow. Yeah, and then here after the quick table calculation, we have this option known as dual axis. Yeah, dual axis. So click on the dual axis. Yeah, again I'm repeating. I'm selecting this sum of sales, the second sum of sales capsule. Click the drop down arrow, and then here we have this option known as dual axis. So just click it. Yeah. So now our chart is ready. We can put this thing over here. Yeah. So this is our Pareto chart. Okay. And here we see that this starting four subcategories, yeah, that is phones, copiers, chairs, and bookcases. This is giving us 80% of our sales. Yeah, this is generating 80% of our sales. So what it says that it is similar to that Pareto chart, Pareto principle, that 20% of your products are giving you 80% of your sales. So it means that we should focus more on these four, I would say, categories, subcategories, and less focus has to be given on the other categories. Yeah, because they are just generating 20% of the rest sales. Okay, but 80% of the sales are generated by these four subcategories: phones, copiers, chairs, and bookcases. Yeah, so this is how we can use this Pareto principle or Pareto chart. Yeah. So I hope everybody is with me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was not knowing that there is any quiz over here. Okay. Maybe if coordinator would have asked me, I would have created a 50 questions quiz for all of you. Yeah. And if you clear all those questions, then only you'll be getting the certificate. Yeah. Sorry, just joking. Okay. So we have created these three charts. Yeah. Gantt chart, PEG bubble chart, and Pareto chart. Yeah. Still we are having time, so we'll be creating 2 more charts at least. Yeah. So now the fourth chart is known as waterfall chart. Okay, now this is also a very, very important chart. So here you can see in the diagram, this is our waterfall chart. Now what is waterfall chart? It displays the cumulative effect of sequentially introduced positive or negative values. Yeah. So let us take this definition as it is. It shows how an initial value is increased and decreased by a series of intermediate values leading to a final value. So here you can see that initially we are having some increase, then decrease, yeah, still more decrease, then increase, decrease. So if you want to see these kind of effects, say for example, if you want to see the effect of profit or sales over a period of time, then we can use these kind of waterfall chart, okay, to see that effect, that how it is going on, when we are having the increase, when we are having the decrease. So we can use this waterfall chart. It is widely used in finance sector to exhibit how a net value is arrived at by breaking down the aggregate effect of positive and negative contributions. Yeah. So again, this is a chart for the finance people, mostly you can see. Yeah. So this is our waterfall chart. Yeah. Now let us create this chart in Tableau. So we go for the next sheet, new sheet. We immediately give the name, waterfall chart. Yeah. Yeah. So here how to create the waterfall chart. So first of all, we drag the subcategories and we put it in the columns. Okay, we drag the subcategory and we put it in the columns. Then we drag the profit and we put it in the rows. Yeah, what we have dragged the profit and put it in the rows. Now just to, if we see this bar chart, then here we see that most of the subcategories, they are generating profit except the tables. Yeah, just one subcategory, it is generating losses. Yeah, here it is showing us in tooltip, it is profit that is minus, so it is loss. Yeah, so except one, every subcategories are generating the profit. Yeah. Now what we do, that we want to create these kind of chart. Yeah. So first of all, we click this sum of profit, this capsule, which we have put it in the rows. So sum of profit, we click it, and then we go to the quick table calculation. Yeah, and we'll be using the running total over here. Yeah, here also we'll be using this concept of running total. Okay, so here this is what we are able to see it. Okay, so starting with accessories and going till table. So here you can see that there is an increase in the profit. Yeah, but here in the last one, it is showing us the decrease in the profit. Okay, so this is the one of the steps that we'll be using it. Now what we'll be doing is that to create a waterfall chart, here now we'll be coming to this marks area. Yeah, and by default here it is showing us the automatic chart. Yeah, so we click on it. Yeah, we click on this automatic chart, and then we use this known as Gantt bar. Yeah, we use this Gantt bar. Okay, in the marks area we have selected this Gantt bar. Okay, so as soon as we have selected this Gantt bar, you can see that now we are having these kind of horizontal lines. Okay, so here whatever this line it is showing us, that is the tip of that our initial bar chart. Yeah, initially we were having these bar charts. So currently it is not showing the whole bar chart, but it is just showing the tip of each of the bar chart. Yeah, bar. So this is the tip. Yeah. Now what we want, that we want to create these kind of waterfall chart. So here you can imagine that we are having this tip of each and every bar over here. Yeah, tip. Now we want to create this bar in a vertical line and we want to go down. Yeah, we are already on the tip and we want to go down over here. So to create these kind of bar, definitely we should have some kind of the calculated field. Yeah, so that it can calculate that how much or say what will be the size of this bar. So we are having the tip and now we want to create a bar below it. Yeah, so here we create a calculated field. Yeah, so we click on this drop down arrow, create calculated field. Okay, and now here what I'll be writing, the title of this calculated field will be negative profit. Okay, I'll come back to this point why I'm writing this negative profit. And this negative profit is equal to minus, sorry, minus profit. Okay, minus profit. Now first of all you write this thing, then I'll explain you this thing. Yeah, so negative profit, that is equal to minus profit. Yeah, minus negative, this is minus. Yeah, minus profit. Calculation is valid, we click apply and okay. Yeah, now why we have used this minus of profit? Because we are on the top of the bar and now we want to go down. Yeah, so that's why to go down we have to take the negative of this every profit. Yeah, if we want to start from the, if we are at the bottom and then if we want to go up, then in that case we'll be taking just the positive profit, plus and, or if even if you don't write plus, it is profit. Yeah, but when we are now having the tip of each of the bar, the top portion of the bar, and if you want to go down, then we have to take the negative of profit. Yeah, so that's why I have created this measure, negative profit. Now what we have to do, we have to drag this negative profit measure and we put it in the size. Yeah, because we want to create that bar, so we put it in the size. And now you can see that our bars are ready. Yeah, it is showing us the bars and they are now ready. Okay, so here we are having an increase in the profit, and then finally here we are having the decrease. Okay, now currently in our chart we are using this same colors. Yeah, so if we want to see that where we are having the loss. Okay, so as we have seen that earlier, that here the last bar, that is the tables bar, or I would say table subcategory, we are having the loss. Yeah, so to see, to show that thing, what we can do, that we can drag this profit. Yeah, and we can drag it to the colors. Sorry, we can drag the profit and we can put it in the color. Okay, let me take this thing over here. Yeah, so now you are able to see very clearly. Yeah, here this is the dark blue color, so it is having the highest profit. Yeah, and here we are having the orange color, so here we are having the loss. Okay, so this is our waterfall chart. Okay, whatever we saw over here, we are the same thing we are able to see over here. Yeah, so the light blue colors, they are having a little bit less profit. The dark blue color are having are having more profit, and then this orange color, it is having a loss. Yeah. So this is how we can create a waterfall chart. Okay. So I hope that the thing is clear. Yeah. And now the last one, I would say, so that is known as tree map. Yeah. Now tree map, what it says, it is used to display hierarchical data using nested rectangles. Yeah, so here we are having those nested rectangles, and here also the size matters. Yeah, so the bigger the size of the rectangle, definitely it is showing you that it is having some higher value. The size and color are used to show separate numeric dimensions of the data. Yeah, so here also we can use different colors, and also the size, it is already there. The levels in the hierarchy of the tree map are visualized at rectangles containing other rectangles. Okay, so sometimes we can see that there is some category also. Yeah, this is our beverages category. Then this is confectionaries, produce, grains, and cereals. So we are having the category, and within the category also. So this is our big rectangle, and then inside also we are having some subcategories. So there are some smaller rectangles also. Yeah, so we can create these kind of things. And this is also a very good, very good visualization, and it is also a very popular visualization. Yeah. So this is what we mean by a tree map. Now we come back to this our Tableau, and then we click on the new sheet. Yeah. Let us give directly the name, that is tree maps. Yeah. So we give the name to this new sheet, that is tree maps. Now to create the tree map, first of all, what we do, we drag the subcategory and we put it in the columns. Okay, we drag the subcategory and put it in the columns. Then we drag the sales and put it in the rows. Okay, this is what we did before also. So in the columns, we are having subcategories. In the rows, we are having sales. Okay, so we are having by default this bar chart. But now we want to create the tree map. So we click on this show me. Yeah, show me. And here below this bar chart, yeah, we are having this tree map, which is having some rectangles. Yeah, so we click on this tree map. Yeah, in the show me over here. So we put this thing over here. So this is our simple tree map. Okay, it is showing us the different subcategories. So here we can see that fonts, it is having the, I would say, the maximum size. Yeah. So the first rectangle, it is having the maximum size, and then accordingly the other rectangles will follow. Yeah, the size will differ. And on the right hand bottom corner, we are having the smallest rectangle. It is of labels, and it is having some sales. Yeah, so it is starting from the bigger rectangle and it goes till the smaller rectangle, or the smallest rectangle. Yeah, so this is a simple tree map. Now here, as we have seen in this our diagram, that if you want to create these kind of colorful tree map, then that also we can do it in our example. Yeah, so let us do one thing, that here we are having this one field known as ship mode. Yeah, there are some 2-3 ship modes which are there. So ship mode, what we do, we put it in the color. Yeah, let us drag the ship mode and we put it in the color. Yeah, so now here we are having this 4 ship modes. Yeah, and here also you can see that in the legend, the dark blue color, this is the first class ship mode. Then the this orange color, this is same day. Then the red one is second class, and this one is the third class, or sorry, standard class, not third class, standard class. So here also, based on this, we can also try to segregate. Now see, these phones and all these subcategories, they are in each of these, I would say, ship mode. Yeah. So here it is giving us more detail. Yeah. And it is showing us in different colors. Yeah. Now what we can do, we can remove just ship mode. Let us remove the ship mode from the color. And then we can also drag profit to the color. Yeah, drag profit to the color. So again here, whatever we created this waterfall chart, yeah, and we saw that these tables subcategory, it is creating losses. The same thing we are also able to see over here. Yeah, the tables, if you see that it is having the orange color, so it is showing us the losses over here. Yeah, here it is showing in my tooltip, it is showing me profit equal to negative 64,083. So negative means loss. Yeah, and here this is the darker one. Yeah, this is much more darker. So copiers, it is giving us the highest profit. Yeah, maximum profit, and then it is followed by these phones. Yeah, phones, and then the other categories. Now, if you are not happy with this kind of combination, then definitely you know that if you want to edit the colors, you can click on this drop down arrow in sum of profit. Palette is automatic. I can go for a combination also, maybe say red blue diverging, that is my best one. Yeah, click and apply. Still there is no such effect. Let us go for another one. Yeah, red, green, gold. Let us go for the 3 colors. Yeah, red, green, and gold. Okay. So again here it is showing us the same thing, that copiers, it is very dark green in color. So it is having the highest profit, and then again these tables, it is having the losses. Yeah, and all are generating some kind of profit. Yeah. So this is our tree map. Yeah, this is how we can create a tree map. Okay, so any questions in this thing? Yeah, and then here also we can play with many things. Yeah, say for example, we are having region. Yeah, we can put the region in the color also. Let us see region. Yeah, so now see, these are the different regions. How many regions we are having? Canada, Caribbean, Central Africa, and many more. Yeah, and now here we are able to get all the subcategories. They are shown in the form of different regions. Yeah, different colors are shown over here. Yeah, so this is regions, and yeah, so this is how you can play with this tree map. Yeah. Now, what we'll be doing, that we'll be taking a short break. Yeah, but before you go for a short break, just I'll take your 2 minutes. Yeah, and normally I would like to also inform all of you that I'm regularly conducting this Power BI workshop, and you know that Power BI is another, like, it's a competitor of Tableau. So I'm regularly conducting this Power BI workshop, and yeah, it is a product of Microsoft. It is again a data visualization tool. And one thing which I want to tell you very clearly, that Power BI is the leader currently in the data visualization area, and the second position comes of Tableau. And Power BI, normally I say that it is a bigger, or I would say big brother of MS Excel. Yeah, whatever we are doing in MS Excel, we can do very easily in Power BI, and it is much more user friendly. And the best part of this Power BI is that if you go for the desktop version, yeah, there are 3 versions. So desktop version is totally free. Yeah, you don't have to pay anything, and there is no trial period also. You can use it for lifetime. And the desktop version is having all the features. Just one feature which is not having that, if you want to share your dashboard with your colleagues, then definitely you cannot do it. Yeah, but all the other features are available. So that is also very best part of Power BI. And up till now, I have conducted two workshops in Power BI. It is normally a 5 days workshop, and every day it is for 2 hours only. Yeah? And it is totally practical, and I start from the scratch. Yeah, so it is starting from the like those people who don't know anything about Power BI with that thing, I go to the intermediate level. So already I conducted in Gujarat this Ganpat University, and then in Kerala I conducted with the Adi Shankara Business School. Yeah, and in both these sessions, total number of participants were 250 plus. And now, if anybody is interested, from this Monday, coming Monday, that is 7th of September, I'm going to have another workshop. There is an institute known as Lakshmi Institute of Management in Gujarat, and the workshop fee is 500 rupees. Because why we are taking this money? Because they have not got any kind of sponsorship from the AICTE or any other body, so that's why they are taking a small 500 rupees token money. And here, this will what I'll be covering. Yeah, introduction to Power BI, connecting data transformation, data visualization, and creating dashboard. So it is starting from 7th of September till 11th of September. And the timing is little bit convenient for all of you. That is, it is in the evening Indian time only, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And so there are now 2 days only for if you are interested, or if you are interested to host these kind of workshop in your institute or your university also, then definitely you can contact me. Yeah, anytime. So for both for Power BI, as well as I'm also working with Tableau. And recently I cleared this Power BI exam of Microsoft, and now my focus is on getting the certification from Tableau also. Yeah, so this is all about my workshop. 5 days workshop, 2 hours per day, online teaching mode. And these are the topics which I've already shown you. Yeah. So thank you very much. And I would say that let us take a break of 10 minutes. It is sufficient for all of you, or we go for 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm also fine with 15 minutes. Yeah. So let me know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.